Maritime Made on Eastlink TV is presented in partnership with Nova Scotia Business Inc., novascotiabusiness.com.
Dental restoration is part physics, part aesthetics, and part artwork. Mueller's Dental Arts Lab in Bedford, Nova Scotia has been helping restore smiles for over 15 years. From making the most natural-looking individual teeth of crowns, to implants, to bridges and full dentures, this lab is full of expertise. An impression of the patient's mouth is sent to the dental lab to begin the process of creating the desired dental solution. This is a set of upper and lower impressions. The technician must make a mold of the impression to work with. A silicone-like material is sprayed on the impression to reduce the surface tension, then dried. Water is added to dental plaster until the correct mix and texture is obtained, and then vacuum mixed. The mold material is poured slowly, ensuring no air bubbles are created while it's placed on the dental vibrator. A portion of plaster is added to the mold, which will be the base of the mold, or the master die. This fast-setting plaster is ready to set and is left to rest, after which it will be trimmed on a diamond rotating disc. These molds will be used throughout the process as an exact reference to what is in the patient's mouth.
The master technician is creating an upper arch restoration with conventional crowns and implants. After looking at photographic records and checking the shade tabs from the patient's visit, the technician decides which materials he will use. The materials he will need for this stage are brushes and various colored porcelain powder. The porcelain powder is prepared. The technician is working on the shoulder portion of the crown. This is where the crown meets the gum line in the mouth. He works with a bead of porcelain, applying it and rolling it on the shoulder. The shoulder will be built up, one precise bead of porcelain at a time. The technician uses vibrating and blotting techniques to shape the porcelain. The gentle vibrations allow the particles to move and release moisture, which is then blotted off. The consistency and moisture of the buildup controls the shrinkage of the porcelain when it is fired. The previous steps of this crown were created earlier using a porcelain fused to metal approach, where porcelain was built up on a metal substructure, much the same way as you see here. Atop the metal peg is the working die, or physical model of what is in the patient's mouth. This part is beige. The crown is built to fit this model precisely. The technician holds a metal peg, which is a temporary handle to allow him to work on the crown more easily. The technician taps the crown off the model. With the tip of the brush, he clears out minute porcelain particles on the inside of the crown, which could interfere with its precise fit. The technician verifies his work under the microscope. All 5 crowns for this case are placed on a firing stand and ready for the kiln.
The crowns are set in the porcelain furnace of the kiln. The kiln is open as it heats to 600 degrees. Any organic particles that could be present are burned off. Then the base rises up into the vacuum kiln, where the crowns are fired for 20 minutes. After the kiln, the technician runs a diamond burr along the inside of the crown to further remove any particles of porcelain. The crown is inspected under the microscope, and further cleaning is done until it's perfect. They are then sandblasted to further clean and condition the porcelain to receive the next layers. Another layer of porcelain is applied to each crown, paying particular attention to the precise fit of the crown to the mold. Then the crowns are back in the kiln to be fired again. The technician uses an articulator, a device to check the natural movement of the teeth outside the mouth as the crowns are taking shape. The function of the teeth is as important as the look. On average, the technician uses between 5 and 8 different porcelain powders to create contrast in order to mimic the mature appearance of teeth. At this stage, the base structure of the crown is finished, and it's time for the main aesthetic work and the final build-up. He considers how light operates within the porcelain, and working for many, many hours, creates layers of porcelain, enamel, and glaze that look natural and give the illusion of depth, as in natural teeth. Translucent and regular enamel are also used. The technician creates a fine crack line that is then filled with enamel for a truly natural look.
One of the last artistic steps in a build-up is the creation of the halo, which is the bottom front or cutting edge of the front teeth. Each individual crown is finished in the same way. Once the technician is happy with the final shape, color, and contrast of each one, the crowns are fired again for the final glaze. Now it is time for polishing. The pegs are removed flush with the metal substructure or framework of the crown. All surfaces will be polished using increasingly fine rubber wheels. Then the margin where the crown will physically meet the preparation finish line of the tooth is polished under the microscope. Polishing compound is used on surfaces starting with a slow motion and alternating polishing direction to create a clean, smooth surface. Then the crown is buffed, then cleaned in an ultrasonic vibrator. Although this case was completely handcrafted with analog technology, there are many cases at Mueller's Dental Arts Laboratory that have an increasing computer-based beginning. Many cases start with a digital design. Here, the technician is performing a 3D scan of a model. The scan is loaded into software to design a custom dental solution, often a crown or bridge. The design is sent digitally to be milled at another facility. Once back from milling, it is fused in the sinter oven, and then custom hand painting and staining can be done in the same way as the crowns made earlier. A beautiful, healthy smile is important for confidence, as is good nutrition alike. With the skilled technicians at Mueller's Dental Arts Laboratory, you are in good hands.